Boo Boo Man upgrading his, it was like a 256 gigabyte image for the Raspberry Pi 5 actually, and then now it's a 512 gigabyte image. And be careful, this one is a little large, so make sure you get a big 512 gigabyte micro SD card like a Samsung Select or better. There's a lot going on here. If you looked at my last video, it was a pretty squared away video image. I really liked it. It's very clean, really easy to use. Batocera is just amazing on the Raspberry Pi. You know, the Raspberry Pi 5, if you have one, it's a cool little tinkering device, but it's cool to have like a little image like this. It's all pre-set up for you, so you can just go and start gaming, and it's really well optimized, and it has all your systems from Atari all the way up to the Nintendo Wii, and then everything in between. Mostly full collections as you get to the bigger CD disc games or systems like Dreamcast and Naomi. They don't have all of them. But a nice little collection here, so let's go ahead and jump into it. All right, on first boot, it looks like this. You definitely want to set up your controller. Go to controller over here, go to controller mapping, and map your controller right here. I have an Xbox 360 controller. It's fairly easy to map. You just click that and go through the prompts for A, B, X, Y, all your different buttons. I turned off the background music. Go to sound settings, you turn off background music. Although I found the music to be very pleasant. It was Zelda music. Speaking of Zelda, I did see on here it has for the either the Wii or the GameCube. They have all the Zelda games. Okay, yeah, so it is for the GameCube. They have a lot of Zelda on this thing. I'm a Zelda fan. So which did they have? I saw they had a bunch of Zeldas on here when I was gaming here. Yeah, there you go. You get the collector's edition, Time, the Wind Waker, and then Twilight Princess. So GameCube. We can talk about that later, but long story short, the Pi still struggles on certain games. You can mess with the settings and things to make it run a little bit better. But let's get started with the beginning of the alphabet with the numbers here. These are arcade games, the Capcom Play system. You can see it on the arcade in the middle there. And these are 1941 was on here, Ghouls and Ghosts, Mega Man for the arcade system, Nemo, Mercs is on here, really fun game. Punisher, Street Fighter 2 for the arcade, Varth, some good vertical shooters, and then you have CPS 2, Alien vs. Predator, great game, Dark Stalkers is on here, Dungeons & Dragons, and then CPS 3, your Street Fighter Third Strike, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. MAME is going to be all your games are going to be played in this game later, Visara 2, really nice arcade set, really, really good. This now puts two really easily accessible 512 gigabyte images on Arcade Punks. You can grab them there. It's an easy website to grab stuff from. You just have to log in and it is free. Final Burn, Neo, so some more arcade games. And you can always hit select on your controller and jump to a particular letter if that's what you're looking for. You can also do you can actually search the game using the on-screen keyboard with your controller to find a game. So here you have your Hyper Street Fighter 2, the Anniversary Edition. And as you see here, you do have video snaps on some of these games. Wow, that's nice. So that's really cool. So before you play the game, you can see what the game is all about. Look at this version of Pac-Man here, especially when you're trying to find a game. You can also always, my favorite thing to do with arcade games, especially because I haven't played them all, is select random game. And then it just picks a random game for you. We got on this Sengoku Aces. Looks like a cool vertical shooter. Translates to Civil War Ace. Wow, look at that. That's a turtle. A turtle with guns coming out of him. All right. Awesome. Love it. Atari 2600. You got pretty much all of them. All the Ataris, you have them. Jaguar, you only have 70 games, so I'll just go through those really quickly. But that's still a nice little collection there. You got your Tempest on there. WonderSwan Color. You can see the game numbers in the bottom left corner. You can just freeze your screen. I want to go through these fairly quickly. A lot of people who watch my videos say I don't, play more games. So I played a lot more games in this one. IBM PC. I don't know if this was on the last one, but that's cool. Got the old IBM. I wonder if they have like all the Academia games as well. I remember playing those in school. PC Engine 93, Game & Watch 47, NES, all of them, Game Boy, all of them, Super Nintendo, all of them, Virtual Boy, only 10. But I never play any of those. Nintendo 64, all of them. Every single Nintendo 64 game with video snaps, I think, right? Yeah, there we go. So you can see what you're going to play before you play it. Game Boy Color, all of them. GameCube, so there's 50 games here. Let's start at the top. Animal Crossing. I played a couple of the games. You know, there's definitely lag in it. Like, for example, Monkey Ball just ran horribly. Super Monkey Ball 1. But you can mess with the emulator settings to change that a little bit. You can hit select on your controller here. Advanced system settings, you can change different emulators. You can also change, you know, the video mode, the power mode, other things to, you know, maybe make it run a little bit better. You can mess around with those settings, or just change the settings within the Dolphin emulator. Game Boy Advanced, pretty much all of them. Pokemon Minis, you got 11. Nintendo DS, only 8 games. So you got all the Pokemon games, it looks like. That's it. The Wii, so you got a few games again, you know, just like GameCube, not all these are going to run at full speed. You know, I don't emulate Wii that much just because a lot of the Wii games use the motion controls. You know, like, for example, in Super Mario Wii, new Super Mario Bros. Wii, you have to shake the controller to use the flying suit. So there's like other stuff, you know. 3DO, only 15 games, but it does have Needs for Speed, and it does have Road Rash. So that's a good one. Atomus Wave, you got 21. You know, this is a system where it ran a little laggy on the Raspberry Pi 4 unless you overclocked, and now it runs great on the Raspberry Pi 5, so that's a nice little improvement. Master System, 303. Mega Drive, that's also known as Genesis, all of them. Game Gear, all of them. Sega CD, I'm not sure if that's all of them, but it's a little collection here. Sonic Mega Mix. And then Sonic the Hedgehog CD. Sega Saturn, so this is a massive collection here, in case you're curious. And these games run well on the Raspberry Pi 5. You got Road Rash, Pinball Games, Myst, Maximum Force. You can get a light gun to work on the Raspberry Pi. You know, it's not the best experience. It works. I mean, it works for sure. I tend to prefer PC just because they're so much more powerful, and it just seems a lot easier setting them up on like a Windows interface, but you can absolutely do it. Sega Model 3, I played some Virtua Fighter 3. That ran really well. I was pleasantly surprised with the performance of Sega Model 3. Speaking of light gun games, Jurassic Park Lost World, great gun game. Kill some Velociraptors. Dreamcast, how many games do we have? 169. So let's go through that. There are little duplicates here because of the CDs have multiple discs. But we also have Naomi coming up as well. Here you go, Shenmue has like 8 spots right there. But with Naomi, we also have some other games you might be looking for. Another 127. So we can go to the bottom and work our way up. Street Fighter 0. Ninja Assault. Guilty Gear XX. Derby Owners. Cosmic Crash. Capcom vs. SNK 1 and 2. And 18-wheelers. With Video Snap. ZX Spectrum, almost 1,200. Neo Geo, all of them. Neo Geo Pocket. No Pocket Color, no regular Neo Geo Pocket. PlayStation, 100 games. So you might be interested in these. PlayStation runs great. PlayStation ran great since the Raspberry Pi 3, but a lot of people like to see what's on there. There you go. PS Portable. So this is interesting. He has PSP Minis in their own folder, and then the regular PSP full-size games. And I'll be playing God of War later, one of the harder to emulate games at a 3x resolution. It actually ran okay. So definitely seeing the performance out of the Pi 5 here. So let's go ahead and play some games and share my final thoughts. All right, so here we are, Sega Model 3, Virtua Fighter 3. And runs flawlessly, no lag whatsoever. Running good, nice sound effects, good little soundtrack, nice little level design here with the rockin' boat. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised to see Sega Model 3 running well on this system. Now, as far as performance goes, this is where you're really going to kind of see the potential of the Pi. Mind you, mine isn't overclocked right now. You can probably overclock and get a little bit better. This is on 2x, so double the resolution of the lowest that it does. And then you can see here, I'm going to go ahead and change it from 2x to 3x while showing the frames in your upper right corner. and you'll be able to see the performance of that. And you know, while not as good, it was very playable, and it looked. Moving on to Naomi, we have House of the Dead 2. I'm not using my light gun here. I'm just using the analog stick. I'm the red crosshair on the screen. And yeah, you can play light gun games just like this, no problem. You know, there's lots of light gun games for the Sega Saturn, for many of the systems. And you could just use your analog stick, or you can obviously install Sin and Light Gun drivers or other drivers and get them working on here as well. Try not to kill the innocents. All right, and then the final game is this arcade game, vertical shooter, and you can see here it's got a nice little bezel on it. It's looking good, and it's a fun little game. Final thoughts on the build. You know, it's another option for everyone else. The big two 512 gigabyte images for Raspberry Pi 5 are Wolfenose, and this one, a little word of caution on this one. I had a 512 gigabyte SD card, a SanDisk, I want to say Ultra, and it was just slightly too small for this image. So I'm actually running this off a 1 terabyte micro SD card as we speak. You could potentially get it to work on a solid state hard drive instead. That might be a little cheaper, but the 1 terabyte SSDs keep getting cheaper, and or, like I said in the beginning of the video, like a Samsung, the step above Select or Select should work, but just be mindful. I'll put the size of the file in the description of the video here in case you want to check, see if you have enough room. And yeah, you just download the image, you format your SD card, you extract you download it, you extract it from with 7-zip or WinRAR, and then you write it to your disk. And once you write it to your disk, you literally just plug and play. You boot it up the first time, and once you boot it up the first time, you're rocking and rolling. It's just, you have all the games, all the emulators, it's all set up for you. So while the Raspberry Pi, you know, has plenty in stock, they're all over the place. I understand a lot of people want to spend a little bit extra money and just use a mini PC or a PC you already have, or even like, you know, these new portable devices like, you know, the Steam Deck and etc. I get it. I still have some love for the Raspberry Pi, and you know, you're doing other projects with it, like you're programming with Python, you're doing other stuff, you're making a little tinkering. I mean, having this little micro SD card readily available, you just slap it in there, and then, you know, you can game, you can easily make it portable. It consumes very low amounts of power, but again, you know, price to performance, it used to be a killer in that category, and there's other boards out there that are better price to performance. But the community is great here, and it's simple to use. And I like review them, just see what's out there, what the best one to download is. You know, is it going to have what you want on it? So I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what y'all think. That's what I think. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.